All right, on our measurement test, question 8 should have looked very, very, very familiar. We did this exact question on a homework, which is just another reason that it pays to do your homework. And when I'm going over homework when we're grading it, to ask questions, because you never know when you're going to see a question again. Okay? So this is a very simple, straightforward question. It just says to find the area of the shaded part. So I know I'm looking for this triangle and for this triangle. Well, the way that I figure this out is I take the area of my big shape and I'm going to take away the area of my little shape. Because my little shape, well, I guess not necessarily my little, but my smaller shape is white, and I don't want the white, I just want the shaded. Okay? So that first big shape is a rectangle, and I know my formula is A equals LW. You could also say BH. It really doesn't matter. So after I've written my formula, I'm going to plug in my numbers. I know that the length is 13. And I know that the width is 7. So I know that the whole big rectangle is 91. And is that an answer choice? Yes, yes, yes. Don't fall for it. That's a trick. Now I want to take away the area of my white shape because I just want the shaded part. So this white shape, if you're not real sure, if you turn it, it might make a little more sense. It is a trapezoid. Remember, a trapezoid is like a triangle without its top. Okay? A trapezoid has one set of parallel lines because the other two lines are eventually going to touch, just like my fingers. Okay? So these guys are not parallel because eventually they're going to touch. But these are parallel, and these are going to be my bases because no matter how long I extend this line, they will never touch. So that's important to remember, is that your bases are parallel. Well, first I need to write this formula, and it's a long one. A equals parentheses. Now, a lot of people ask me on the homework, I remember, about this one because they said the calculator gives me a different answer. If your formula requires parentheses and you're going to use a calculator, do you think that it's important to put those parentheses in the calculator? Absolutely. Order of operations you learned in 6th grade, super, super, super important. So anyway, our formula is base 1 plus base 2. And then after you find the sum, you multiply it by the height, and then you divide by 2. So we reviewed earlier, our bases are the ones that are parallel. So I look and I see that 6 right here and 13 are my bases. So 6 plus 13. My height, okay, and again, if it helps you physically turn your paper, these are my bases, so my height has to be 7, because if this is 7, then that means this part right here is also 7. And we talked on another problem earlier that your base and your height are perpendicular. Perpendicular is just a fancy pants word for right angle. Okay? So my right angle is right here, so my height is 7. Then I divide by 2. Well, 6 plus 13 is 19. And then 19 times 7 gives me 133, which that's an answer choice. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Okay, I forgot to divide by 2. When I divide by 2, I get 66.5, which again is an answer choice. But 66.5 is only for this white part. Okay? And we said up here that we were going to take away the white part because I just want the shaded. So now I have 91 and I have 66.5, and I'm going to take away the 66.5. So 91 minus 66.5. Remember to line up the decimals. If there's not a decimal, I tell my kids if it's out of sight, you stick it on the right. So the decimal goes on the right. And then to make them look the same, I can just add a 0. When I subtract, I get D, 24.5 square inches.